Shabbat Shalom, we're here in Shara Yichud and we're going to be learning today a little bit about Prarashat Mishpatim, specifically on the idea of not mixing milk and meat when we eat and the prohibition for that in the Torah. The Torah says, Lo tevashel gidi b'chalev imo, you shall not cook a calf in its mother's milk. Rabbi Natan of Breslev teaches us that basar and chalav are two complete opposites. Flesh and milk are two different things. Meat and milk are two different things. The main aspect of meat is the strength of the tzimtzum, the constrictions, the limitations of this world, the boundaries. Because basar, the main meat that is forbidden from the Torah is the meat of a behema, of a beast, of a wild animal. And the melech of the behemot, the king of all beasts, is the shor, is the ox, or a bull, what we call bulls and cows. And the shor is this aspect of tzimtzum, of limitations. It says in Yechezkel, when Yechezkel saw the Merkava, he saw the chariot of Hashem, it says there that ufnei shor mismol, that the face of the ox was on the left side, because the left side, that's the place of the constrictions. So too, all of the borders of Israel are brought down from this same aspect of tzimtzum, of limitations. And they are all from ufnei shor masmol, the face of the ox is from the left. So you see that the meat of an animal like this is the aspect of tzimtzum and gvul. It's this aspect of limitations and constrictions and boundaries. And milk on the other side is an amtaka, is a sweetening. It's archavat tzimtzum, it's expansion of the limitations and of the boundaries. This is the aspect of dam ne'ekar v'na'aseh chalav. Blood is uprooted and becomes milk. Kidam uvchinat dinim. Blood is this aspect of judgments, of tzimtzum, of constrictions. And the time of birth, dam ne'ekar v'na'aseh chalav. At the time of birth, when a woman's coming to give birth, her blood transforms and becomes milk. That's an amtaka. That's an archavat gvulot. That's what we call a sweetening. The judgment's removed. The woman is able to open up. Everything starts to flow out. She's starting to give birth. There's an expansion. And that's done specifically at the time of birth. Because right then, at that point, obviously, we don't want to break through and we don't have breakthroughs. It's not proper. And it's forbidden according to the Torah to break through the boundaries that were set up in holiness, God forbid. And even though everybody needs to see and try to expand the borders of Israel, meaning to expand the borders of holiness in the world, that the border of holiness shouldn't be limited, rather it should expand and spread out and be stretched and grow very much so. We all want to see that the whole entire world comes into what's called Eretz Yisrael, the God consciousness of the land of Israel. And that's the main existence of the world. Lo tohu vara, leshevet yatzara. Hashem didn't create the world for chaos. He created it for it to be settled, for it to be in a God consciousness at all given time, in the aspect of the land of Israel. Because for us, it's forbidden to go outside of the boundaries. It's forbidden for us to go outside of the borders. But inside of the borders, we have to try very, very hard to stretch them out and to stretch them and to expand them as much as possible. Because the boundaries of holiness, the borders of holiness are the aspect of the land of Israel, Eretz Yisrael, that has the ability to expand far, far, far out. And there's power in every single person to sweeten up all of the judgments and all of the boundaries and all of the borders until every single gvul, every single boundary will be stretched out and will expand to far, far regions. This is how Hashem created His world, that everyone should have this power to expand the borders of holiness. You will stretch them out like a tent to be able to sit down, it says in Isaiah 40. And the rabbi said, in the beginning it was like two little things of silk, and then Hashem stretched it out. I mean, there was just two little pieces, and those limitations, everyone is able to stretch them out. This is the power that was brought down into the whole entire creation. That the whole entire creation is always being stretched out and expanding by way of the holiness of Israel, the sanctity of Israel. That Am Yisrael has the power to expand and to grow all of the borders of holiness, that they should be stretched out and should expand and should widen and walk and progressively get bigger and bigger and wider and wider. That's the aspect of Archivi Mekom O'alech V'yiriot Mishkonotayich. It says in Yeshayahu, in Isaiah 54, expand the places of your tents and the pegs, the pillars of your resting places. Ki yaminu smol tifrotzi. From right to left we will break through, we will make a breakthrough, we will expand. So at the time of birth, which is an aspect of expanding the borders of holiness, another person doing holy things in the world, another person that's going to walk around the world and tell everybody about God consciousness and bring them to the land of Israel. A family being expanded, the family of Am Yisrael being expanded, more consciousness in the world. At that time, dam ne'ekar v'naseh chalav. Blood gets transformed and becomes milk. Meaning, the border is sweetened up and expanded, which is the aspect of blood and judgments. And then from that, there's made chalav, there's made milk, which gives birth, which gives sustenance to the baby that was just born, and is able to grow it and elevate it and help it raise up to be something great. So we see that milk is this aspect of archavat gvulot, of the expansion of the borders, expanding up the tzimtzumim and the constrictions that we experience, and therefore it's forbidden to mix milk and meat together, because they are in a contradiction. They are not, they're doing two opposites. Because the truth is, we need specifically both of these aspects separately. We need to have meat and we need to have milk. Because tzimtzum, constriction, limitations, that's what keeps the world in existence. All of the tzimtzumim are here because God's light is infinite and this world is limited. And if we didn't have limitations, the big light would completely shatter all of our vessels and we wouldn't be able to exist. So we need meat in the world. We need borders and we need limitations for the world to stay in existence. So therefore, in the creation of the world, Hashem said to His world, enough. He said up until here. He said borders and limitations, so that there shouldn't be too much of an expansion outside of the borders and the limitations, God forbid. And even though that's the case, even though we need tzimtzumim, we need constrictions, even though that's the case, we need to sweeten them up, to expand the constrictions in our life, to have an expansion of holiness that spreads out within the boundaries, to the width and to the heights and to the lengths. And that border should be stretched out. That border of holiness should be pushed to new places, and that's the aspect of milk. Therefore, it's impossible and forbidden to mix the two together, meaning milk and meat together, not to cook them together, not to eat them together, so that there shouldn't be a contradiction between the two, God forbid. They each have their own place and they each have their own time. They cannot come in together with each other. That is the destruction of all of the worlds, God forbid. Because we need both of these aspects, we have to have limitations and we have to have expansion. But we can't have them together. We cannot have them in the same plate. We cannot have them in the same dish or in the same pot. We need to know that there is an aspect of limitations in this world, and there's an aspect and a desire to expand all of the limitations and to reach new horizons and to take God consciousness to new places. But we cannot get confused and think that they can come together. The border is the border, and the expansion is the expansion. They're two separate ideas, and we have to keep them that way. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.